everyone, welcome back to the studio. It's been about 3 months, I think, since I last uploaded to YouTube, which is just mad because I was really in a groove of creating for YouTube and then I just sort of fell off, and it's because I've had so much on. So many work opportunities, so many great things that have been happening. We had some good family news. I've got a new dog, which I'll be showing you later in this video. Today I'm actually going to be putting my florals from my orange project, which I will update you on in a little while, into the roof of my studio. And I thought I could put them up with you and tell you about what I've been up to and have a bit of a catch up, because I feel like I just need to talk. So I'm gonna update you. I've got a list of things that I want to tell you, really exciting things that I've been doing, and just, yeah, I just feel like life has really picked up the past 3 months and I'm just really enjoying it. I'm going to do a whole video on the orange project and I finished it quite a while ago now, but I'll talk about that in a little bit just to compartmentalize this, because I don't want to go all over the place, because I'm very, very good at doing that. Me and my friend Abby always say that we have side stories, because when we're telling a story we always get carried away with side stories and put a pin in the main story. Don't want to do that today. I just want to tell you the stories individually. So I've been having a think this morning about how I can suspend them in the air. I'll show you in a moment where I'm actually going to be putting these florals. You can't see it now, but I actually have the telephone suspended in the roof of my studio. I'm thinking I'm going to use the other beam, which is just above where my camera is, and put the florals onto the beam. My favourite flower is this dahlia and I want it to go in the middle. I'm just finding it really difficult to know if I want it on this side or the other side, and where you are now is where I film from the most. So when I've got my phone on very wide angle, you can see the beam, and I kind of want them to be like front and center in the filming area. I want to make it more aesthetic for video, because if I hang these on this side I feel like you're going to see like the back of them and it's just not as aesthetic. So I'm thinking I might get like a clamp or just a bit of wire, go over this and cut this off and just have the clamp or the wire clamping down with some screws on either side on top of the beam. The beam's probably about 1.5 inches wide, so it'll just be enough to like hold it down, which will be good. I'm not sure if I've actually showed you this before, but you probably have seen it if you watched my renovation of my studio years ago. We moved my granddad's workshop from the studio into here, and this is the place that he set up as his workshop. Over the past few years it's gotten a little bit untidy, so me and Jack actually spent a few weeks ago tidying it up, and then we haven't finished yet. I've not got round to finishing it yet. I've taken all of the tools off the wall, labelled what they are, and I'm going to put them back in like a bit more of a usable fashion, because before they were sort of all over the place. Actually thinking as well of just like painting the floor, painting the cupboards, just brighten it up in here, and maybe even insulating the roof so we've got more of like a space to create in. We've got all the tools like bandsaw, we've got sanders, we've got jigsaw. Possibilities are endless with this room. My granddad isn't doing as much anymore in terms of like creating, but we thought we'd clear it up, and then if he ever did want to come in here and do something, then he can, and it's clear and usable space. If I know my granddad and the way that the workshop ended up, and which is why we changed it to the studio, he's a messy one. And he likes being messy, whereas me and Jack, we are very, very tidy people. So this already automatically makes me feel funny. So yeah, we'll probably put some new lights in here, just make it a bit more of a usable space. All the tools are in here now, so I'm just going to see if we've got any clamps. They're probably not going to work. So we went through all of the drawers and cupboards and just collected everything together and we put them into an order, which is satisfying for me and Jack. At least we've got it all sorted now, pretty much. So there's 5 flowers, so I need 10 screws to go on either side. 2, 4, 6, 10. Right, where is my drill? I think it might be in the greenhouse. I've got my impact driver, I've got some cable ties, I've got some wire, but this wire seems a little bit rusty and old, so I need to figure it out. I might have some extra one in that cupboard there. This is just from the greenhouse. Before we move on to that though, I wanted just to tell you my first update. I'm not sure if I've even told YouTube this, but I definitely have on my other social medias, but my dad actually got diagnosed with cancer last September. If you don't already know, I live with my parents, with Jack, and also my granddad and auntie live like next door but on the same property. So it's been a bit of a tough time because we've had to deal with that, but he got the all clear in about March time, and then he went back for another test recently, so May I think it was. Again, he got all clear, so I think that's kind of why I stopped filming when I did, because it just got all a bit too much mentally for me. But since obviously you got the all clear, I just feel like I've been so much lighter. I felt so much better about life, creating, being in the studio, family, personal stuff. But yeah, he's doing very well. He's feeling good. Just feels like we can get on with life now. I've just been attacked by sticky weed. We have a ladder and I think I'll be good to reach. Before I get up the ladder, I wanted to show you this zine which I am featured in. So Adobe asked me back in, I think it was like February time, to create a piece for their new half-page zine. The theme of this zine, I can't say it. The theme of this zine bloody hell, I can't say it, was making waves. This is issue 1 and I was very, very excited and happy to be featured in this along with some incredible female artists. Welcome to issue 1 of Half Page, the zine that's for creatives by creatives, brought to you by the Adobe community team. We've partnered with photographers, designers, illustrators and storytellers to bring you insight, inspiration and ideas to help you reimagine your workflows and creative process. Every quarterly issue will centre on a theme for the creative community to explore together. In honour of Women's History Month, in this issue we'll explore the theme of making waves. Across platforms and industries, one thing is for sure, creatives are making waves and many of them are women. On the big screen, your little screens and in your own community, they're storytellers, ambassadors and fellow creators. This issue of Half Page celebrates the work of women we find inspiring. So I'm very, very honoured to be featured in here. I absolutely love the cover. This is by Hutzpah. This is actually a free zine, so I'll leave the link below. So when they approached me about the theme being making waves, I instantly thought I want to do under the sea vibes. That's kind of where my brain went with waves. I didn't want to be too obvious with actually using waves, but I wanted to use deep, dark, blue, rich colours. And because I just was in my orange phase, I really wanted to do blue and orange as a contrasting colours and it just felt right. So I ended up brainstorming some ideas based on an old image of mine from 2018 called the octopus, and I sort of put that into the mood board. I had a play around with it. It was actually very interesting to use my images on a mood board, but also using AI. And I used Firefly to kind of come up with some of the backdrop ideas. I wanted material because I've not used this kind of material before. And yeah, just before I actually dove in and bought the material, I wanted to see what it would look like. So I kind of just threw a lot of the ideas together on a mood board. And here's my mood boards that I actually used and pitched to the Adobe community team. So yeah, I went into the studio and I shot it, and it was a very, very therapeutic process. It was nice to cover myself all in blue and just be in the studio for a few hours. And honestly, it was such a great shoot. I really, really felt myself. I felt good. I felt powerful. I felt strong. Yeah, it just made me feel great to be part of something that was celebrating women, because as a woman, I felt societal pressure, creative society pressure, pressure to do things a certain way. I've been told by men a lot to do things a certain way. Women have their own voice, their own powers, and to be considered part of this creative community is just really, really special. I think if I'd asked myself 10 years ago where these self-portraits would go, I never thought I'd end up working with Adobe for one, but also I really didn't know where it was going. I was always just playing and experimenting, so it's just nice to be part of this. So thank you, Adobe, for asking me. I really need to figure out where the middle of this is, but I think I'm gonna eyeball it because that's what I usually do. The triangles at the top kind of tell you where the middle is anyway. But I'm gonna just put in 2 screws above and on top and just see what happens with that. I've shot the orange project. That was shot just before I went to Adobe Max, but I'll talk about that in a little while. I had the most fun day shooting the orange project. It felt amazing to get it finally done. It took me so long to create these props and just really focus on the idea, especially at the time where my dad was going through his treatment and we didn't know what was going to happen, and I was kind of focusing on these props as a way out of my head. So as always, that's kind of how I create these images and the artwork. So back in April, I went to Adobe Max where my work was featured. I managed to get my orange project finished just in time for featuring it at Adobe Max. So I released it on the day that I saw it live in person, which was so nice. I was frantically trying to upload it whilst we were looking at the keynote. We actually did a Photoshop summit the day before, all very confidential stuff, but we told them what we thought of the product. There was about 30 or 40 creatives that came to the Photoshop Summit. Absolutely inspiring people there. It was so nice to be a part of. I got to do a talk about my Orange project and about how I've created it and my work with AI and generative fill and the expand. This is not sponsored, by the way. I've been heavily using it recently and heavily working with Adobe, so of course, I'm going to tell you all about it. So me and Jack went down on the Sunday. We ended up having a nice day. We saw the marathon, which was very, very exciting because I actually entered, I think I was on a bit of a high that week and the ballot came out for the marathon 2 days after, or was it? Yeah, it might have been 2 days after. So I actually put in for the London Marathon ballot. Who knows if we'll get it, but me, Jack and my cousin have also signed up for a half marathon in September. So we're going to do the Humber Bridge half marathon, which is kind of nice because my granddad, my dad's dad, actually helped build the towers of the Humber Bridge. He was a foreman on it. So it's going to be really emotional, I think, because my granddad died of cancer. So we are raising money for cancer research. I've never ran that far before. I've only ever done a 10K and that was years ago, but I am actually in training. But by the by, that was the Sunday. I got excited by the marathon, ended up putting in for the ballot. We'll see. The Monday we did the Photoshop Summit, had a full day of back-to-back talks and, you know, just chatting with the Adobe team, the Photoshop team, everyone who's part of it, told our thoughts and feelings, which was really interesting and also very exciting for me. My inner 14-year-old who started on Photoshop years and years ago was like, oh my God, I'm actually being asked to say what I want from Photoshop and they're listening. Like, just incredible. I was just like mind blown by it all. But yeah, I got to do my little talk and then the Adobe MAX Day, incredible day. Keynotes, back-to-back stuff. Had such a great day with so many incredible creatives. I'm going to link them below because it was just inspiring to be in front of so many amazing people who, from like designers, illustrators, art directors, photographers. It was just so inspiring to be a part of it. I've managed it and hopefully it won't fall down. Oh my God, I love it! I love it! That's exactly what I wanted. Perfect. So that worked really well, so I'm going to do it again. What I think I might do is put 3 on this side and then put the other 2 on this side. Whoa. I need to know how far over. Oh, the amount of cobwebs up here. These are going to get covered in cobwebs, but oh well, you can't see it from down there. I don't even think I'm going to have room. Maybe I will have to put the other 2 on this side. Ah, dropped a screw. Another little update, well, quite a big one, is that I went to D&AD Festival, again with Adobe. This is a very heavy Adobe video. They invited me to D&AD, which is a design and art directing festival where people in the industry, designers, illustrators, art directors, all that kind of thing, win awards. And Adobe sponsor the festival, so I was invited to feature my work and talk about AI. So I got to hang out with Siobhan and James from They Are Creative. Amazing people. We clicked and got on so well. It was such a nice couple of days just hanging out. And David, who is an illustrator and designer, such a nice time. We put the worlds to right, but we basically were all featured in the Adobe community stand. I don't know if I said this about Adobe Max, but I was absolutely dead. Like literally, the next day I got home, I think from Adobe Max I did lose my voice and did have a cold. I think for the rest of the week after the Adobe Max, I just laid down because I was so tired. And because I'm on my own in the studio, shooting, editing, creating, coming up with ideas, it was nice to be around loads of people and just get so inspired. But I was like, almost like inspiration bombed. And I was like, whoa, I need to process this. So the next few days I had to compartmentalize everything that I'd learned, everyone I'd spoke to, remember every conversation I'd had and just like put it into perspective so that I could like take what I needed from each day and just like implement it into my creative life and just personally, but it just basically wiped me out for about a week. The D&AD Festival also did the same. So again, I was wiped out. I've had such an amazing past few weeks with Adobe team and it's just been incredible, really, and it's really validated what I'm doing. Back in the day, I would have thought I'd never go somewhere with this, and I am, and it's just exciting. So thanks again, Adobe, for having me at D&AD, and thank you again to the people who I met there, Siobhan, James and David. And I did a live stream with Clara and Lucy, and I finally got to hang out with Claddie. Just a lovely bunch of people. Very, very nice. I just remembered I had this wire. It's like a slinky. From making the flowers, so I'm going to use this one instead. Been hanging out with my little pup. I think we've had her about 3 weeks. She's been very good. Pepper was just a bit of a nightmare dog. He's absolutely perfect now. He's like the best dog, and his nature's so nice and he's just lovely. But as a puppy, he was a nightmare, and Dill has been incredible. She's like such a good dog. She's very hyper. She's a sprocker, so a Springer and Cocker mixed with a Golden Retriever and Cocker mix. So lots of Spaniel in her. So she's very, very excited and hyper all the time, but she's so good in a crate. She sleeps all the way through the night. It's like amazing. Everything that I could have wished for my second dog. So I used these props obviously for my orange project, and I also had a orange wheelbarrow which is now in circulation in the garden, and the watering can is, so all being reused, which is great. What does that look like? Like that. It looks so cute. I'm so happy. The only thing is the other side is a little bit. So this is what I meant by when you walk in, it looks like this. So I'm thinking I'm going to use these ones, which is the daffodil and the poppy, to disguise the back of it. And I know they're not my favourite, so it might annoy me that they're in the shot here, but the other side looks so good. Or do I put them at this side and this side? I don't know, I'm confused, but I feel like maybe I'll just do what I said originally. These are still attached from when I shot the orange project, so I just need to take off because I used stands. There we go. Then I can reuse that piece of metal. Trying to take this off is hard. I need some proper scissors. Right, I'm gonna have to tape that back up. When I shot with this, these were a little bit too heavy, so I had to like pin them up. So I think when I actually put this up there, I might have to pin them back, or else it might annoy me. I just use little sticky dots to like stick individual strands. I think I might have to come up with like a bit more of a permanent solution. Right, let's see what this looks like. It's worked out so well, I've put the daffodil up, but I've gone for 3 on that side and 2 on this side. Before I give you a grand reveal, I thought I'd just show or talk to you about my next colour project. So I have the colour. I am doing red. I've already got my idea. I kind of know what I'm doing. I just need to go and buy the props and, well, I need to buy the backdrop because I'm doing a bit of a different backdrop this time, I think. So that's interesting. I know what props I want to make. I don't think they're going to take that long, but due to the nature of the prop, they're not going to be that complicated. So I'm going to show you the ceiling now. I'm going to take some pictures so you'll see it properly, but this is what it looks like on this side. And then if I go over to the other side, this is what it looks like from this way. And I'm not sure, you know? I feel like maybe these two need to go on the other side at the ends. But I don't dislike this view. I feel like it's quite cute. Maybe I'll just live with it for a little bit and then see how I feel. Before I go, I'm gonna go and get my little puppy to show you, but thanks so much for watching this video. I've been really wanting to do a bit of a catch up so that I can move on. I feel like my brain always stays stagnant with YouTube unless I like talk about what I've been doing, because I can't just like pick up where I left off because there's so much happened. But I feel like I'm now all cleansed of my brain and my update has been done. So thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think of the flowers. I'm not overly happy with seeing like the backs of the flowers. I think that's what's putting me off, but I'm gonna live with it for a little bit and see how I feel. If you're still here listening to me, then hello. Thanks so much for watching this far. And also, you're the lucky ones because you get to see Dilly. I'm gonna go get her now, but I'm gonna sign off. So thanks so much for watching and I'll see you on my next one. Bye, Dilly Dango. Come on then. Peppy, coming in. This is Dilly. Dilly. Dilly Dango. Dilly Dango. Oh, Peppy. So Peppy's been quite indifferent to her. And then he's sort of fallen in love with her a little bit, I think. Come here then, let me show you. Have you got mud on your face? I think you might have. This is Dilly. Say hello, Dilly. Hello. So she's called Dill because we wanted to keep like a herb name because pepper is pepper. So we wanted something like not too obvious. And I feel like Dill is like just so cute. So we call her Dilly or Dilly Dangle. You are so cute. Say bye, Dilly. Bye. She's so small as well. Pepper is a 35 kilogram Labrador, so you can see the size difference. She loves cuddling. What, Peppy?